What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. Today we have the highly suggested Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX deck. This is a deck that performed very well before the rotation. After rotation we'll just have to adapt a little bit. We don't have to put too many Zapdos in the deck. Even though I love the Zapdos card, it is not that useful anymore because we cannot search it out quite easily. We don't have Nesball, we don't have Ultra Ball, but this deck still survives and you're gonna find out why that is in this video. I'm gonna talk about every strategy, every card in this deck. So if you want to stay updated about everything Pokemon TCG competitive, definitely be sure to subscribe and also hit that little notification bell so you get notified immediately when a new video hits your channel. So this was suggested by a lot of you guys, so here we have it, Pikachu and Zekrom post rotation. So we have two copies of the Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX. Of course we know this card, it uses full Blitz, 150 damage, and we could even power that up with Electro Power, and after we use this attack we can of course search our deck for 3 electric type energies and attach them to one of our Pokemon. So this is gonna be fantastic. Sometimes we just attach it to the active Pikachu and Zekrom, sometimes we attach it to a bench Pikachu and Zekrom. We even have things like the Tag Switch, it's a new item card. A lot of new item cards will of course help this deck out, but more on that later. We also have of course Tag Ball GX, where the card is shines the most. We have 200 damage, and if we have additional 3 lightning energies we dish out 170 damage to the opponent's bench Pokemon. Why is this deck gonna be so good after rotation? Well, let me just explain you this. A lot of decks will be running the Dedenne GX. We no longer have Tapu Lele GX, we no longer have Marshadow with the Let Loose. People will grab to that Dedenne GX for consistency. It is grabbable with Cherish Ball, so we're gonna see a lot of Dedenne popping up in a lot of decks. If they use Dedenne, we have the edge here because we can take 2 prize cards if we can use Tag Ball. The only counter to this is of course if they run the Mew from Unbroken Bonds, but let's not concern about that. Also a lot of fighting cards are rotating out, things like Lycanroc GX for instance, Boswell GX, so things are looking good for Pikachu and Zekrom. So the thing we want to do here is get a bunch of energies onto this Pikachu and Zekrom as quickly as possible. But first let us talk about some other cards in the deck. We're going to be running 2 copies of Zeraora GX, mainly for its Thunderclap Zone ability. That way everything with a lightning energy has free retreat. This can help us out if we want to just sometimes attack with of course Zapdos, but also with the new Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX, which I'm going to explain after Zeraora. Zeraora can also get energies on board with full voltage GX. I do not recommend that, but in certain situations you might want to do that if you're running out of energies. Definitely against things like stall decks, even though stall decks will definitely die off after rotation. Next is Plasma Fist. It is a GX Pokemon. It only gives up 2 prize cards. The Pikachu and Zekrom gives up 3 prize cards. So sometimes you want to attack with Plasma Fist. So 2 copies of that because we want to have free retreat, because we want consistency. We want of course to get something on the bench so we can use Tapu Koko Prism Star and attach energies on it. We also have Tag Switch, which is an item card I'm gonna explain soon. Next up is gonna be the Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX I already talked about. This is gonna be the one with Tandem Shock, which dishes out 80 damage, and if we came from the bench during our turn we dish out 160 and automatically paralyze the opponent. Why is this fantastic? Well, with Guzma rotating, that means a lot of decks won't be running too many switching options, and sometimes they will be stuck in the active position with nothing to do. They also we also know that Acerola is rotated. That means if they are stuck in the active we have the edge. Sometimes you want to just leave the opponent stuck, although certain decks will run mixed herbs, not all of them, and also certain decks won't run enough switch cards. So that's gonna be fantastic, putting in an awkward situation with Tandem Shock, but also has Lightning Ride for 3 energies, 150, and then we switch this Pokemon to the bench. And also if we have 3 additionals, actually only 2 additional lightning energies, that means 5 in total, we can dish out 250 instead. And 250, fill it up with some Electro Powers and we're definitely gonna get 1-hit KO. So also a very great Tag Team GX. Then more Tag Team GXs. This is going to be a meta filled with a lot of tag teams. So here we have Mew and Mewtwo Tag Team GX. We talked about it before in the Mew Toolbox deck. This time around it will just help out. This is going to be a Psychic type. All of our Pokemon are weak to fighting, so if we come across something like a fighting rogue deck, we have an answer in the form of Mewtwo. Not only that, because this is a Psychic type, we can also abuse this Mewtwo to destroy opposing Mewtwo's, and this can be done very easily. We can just use bench it, use Tapu Koko Koko Prism Star and use tag switch energies on it, and suddenly out of nowhere we can attack with Mew and Mewtwo GX and even use attacks like full Blitz, for instance. So I love it very much thanks to the perfection ability, being able to copy any attacks of GXs on our bench or in the discard pile. There we have him. Then one copy of Zapdos. This is probably my favorite card. I played with it a lot. I got like 300 championship points with this card, or actually this deck alone, Zapdos Jirachi. This time around, we can only find it in the PIKACHU ZEKROM deck. It's not good on its own because we lose Guzma, and Zapdos just loves Guzma. So we're just gonna put one copy in here. We have, of course, some switching cards, and we do have the Jirachi engine still going on with the skateboards and switches. So sometimes if there's something in the active position with a low amount of hit points, we can strike in with Zapdos. But not only that, sometimes there will be a case where you have a lot of electro powers with Zapdos, and Zapdos takes a huge KO. Mark my words. One copy of that. Then one copy of the Tapu Koko Prism Star, probably the best lightning type basic Pokemon in the game, because it's basically like two Malamars at once. We can attach two lightning energies from the discard pile and attach one of them to each of our Pokemon. So we can just accelerate energies, we use things like energy switch, tag switch, and get the full Blitz going as early as possible. This is going to be one of those lists that goes really fast because we have, of course, the Navy search. I'm going to talk about that later. Searching out the Thunder Mountain Prism Star will be easy. This can be searched out with communication. So if we can get energies in play, things will go all right. Then for the last Pokemons, we have, of course, some consistency boosters. Let us just rearrange this so we have a lot of space here. So we have Raichu, Alolan Raichu, Mew and Mewtwo, Zapdos, Tapu Koko, and then some more consistency cards. We have two copies of Dedenne GX. This is gonna be the star of post-rotation because it's searchable with Cherish Ball, but also with Electromagnetic Radar in this deck. So our deck is very consistent. We have early access to Dedenne if we want energies in the discard pile. If we just want to draw that essential card for our first turn full Blitz, you're definitely gonna be using the Dedenne change, and you can use that once during your turn, smack it down and draw cards until you have 6 after you discard everything. So you discard your hand and draw 6 fresh cards without even having to rely on a supporter. Very strong. You don't also you might want to use that Tingly Return GX in certain situations, although using an attack of Alolan Raichu which is way better. And then 2 Jirachi to finish the Pokemon line. Stellar Wish, too good not to use. We can search our Electro powers, we can search our supporters, we can even search a custom catcher because we need 2 of them in the hand in order to gust something up. So 2 copies of the Jirachi. So these are the Pokemon line. I think this is just fantastic because you don't want to be running 3 copies of PikaRom because we have Cherish Ball, we have Electromagnetic Radar. It is fine like this. Next up, supporters. Yeah. Again, here I am with the 4 Lily. 4 copies of Lily. We'll make sure that we have it on the first turn most of the time. If we don't have it on the first turn, no problem. Use the Dedenne, smack everything down that you can. Then use the Dedenne and then get a fresh hand, get that Lily, get a huge amount. This deck draws a ton of cards on the opening turn. You'll see that. So 4 copies of Lily. Then, next up, we're just gonna put it over here so the glare doesn't ruin everything. 3 copies of Voltner. Yeah, Voltner is probably one of my favorite cards post-rotation because it searches out Reset Stamp. It's just so powerful. Not only that, we have, of course, the Navi search. It's also in this deck, which can flip 2 coins for each head search deck for a Stadium card. In combination with a Voltner, just Voltner getting out a Stadium card thanks to that item card and a Lightning Energy, you'll get your full Blitz going in no time. And with things like Dedenne for the draw support, we can safely rely on Voltner. Don't have to put a lot of Cynthias in the deck, only 2 copies because most of the time early game we will rely on Lily. Afterwards we use Dedenne as our draw support while also using Voltner for the correct item we need. So 2 copies of Cynthia to finish the support. Those may not seem like a lot of supporters, but with, of course, Electromagnetic Radar, things are fine. We discard 2 cards from the hand. Typically, that will be 2 Lightning Energies because we can get them back with Tapu Koko Prism Star. Now we can get 2 Lightning type GXs immediately from the deck. Most of the time, you just grab what you want. Oh, I need to switch because something's going on here. We get Zeraora. Oh, I want my PikaRom early game. Get it. We want the Dedenne for some extra draw support. Get it. Everything's possible with Electromagnetic Radar and to fill up your bench with a lot of great stuff. Then 2 copies of the Cherish Ball. You could include more, but with Electromagnetic Radar you basically get everything. These Cherish Balls are mainly here because it also can search out Mew and Mewtwo Tag Team GX. So that's why there's 2 copies of that in here. Then 2 copies of Communication. Communication will make sure we can grab that Tapu Koko Prism Star when the time is right, or grab our Zapdos early game, or even get a Jirachi if we are dead drawing. This deck does not dead draw a lot. We have Jirachi, we have Dedenne, we have Cherish Ball, we have Electromagnetic Radar and Communication. So this is a very consistent deck, if not the most consistent deck post-rotation. Next up, because we have of course a lightning variant in the deck, so a lot of lightning types, we're gonna be running 4 copies of Electro Power. I think that is just pretty obvious, because Electro Power will make sure that we can get of course those huge one-hit KOs. Sometimes when we use of course that Tag Bolt, or actually what was it called again? Yeah, Tag Bolt GX, very amazing. That way we can just use Electro Power to boost that damage up. That is already 200. With things like 2 Electro Powers, that's 260. Things like Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX, for instance, goes down. Even opposing Pikachu and Zekrom go down. So 4 copies of Electro Power is nice. You can also abuse it with Zapdos and it's gonna be fantastic. And Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX can also take a huge one-hit KO if you don't want to be relying on Tag Bolt. But most of the time, you will use Tag Bolt to destroy maybe a Dedenne GX, maybe a Jirachi GX, because they will get it out if you get out your Mew and Mewtwo Tag Team GX. Then 4 copies of the Custom Catcher. This is gonna be the way to target the opponent down. Why is this good? Well, you mainly want to go after GXs. This is a GX based meta, but sometimes you want to just dispose something on the bench. You use of course Custom Catcher, and then you can use Tag Bolt and destroy 2 Pokemon at once. Sometimes it's fantastic. Or just to clean up the game or late game, use Custom Catchers, and maybe you can pick up a neat prize card with Zapdos. It also happens. Then for the other cards, 3 copies of Energy Switch. We need this because Tapu Koko Prism Star attaches to the bench and we need to get it anywhere we want. Not only that, you can just swap from attacker, you can free retreat thanks to the Thunderclap Zone ability of Zeraora, you can move the energies to Mewtwo if you want to just say, oh, now I'm gonna attack with Mewtwo because the opponent has a Psychic type around. It is all possible. Sometimes you want to paralyze the opponent, so with Energy Switch you can get there, but mainly we will use it to get of course that Tag Bolt GX full attack going, so we can get a lot of energies on Pikachu and Zekrom. 2 copies of Tag Switch. A new card, this is very amazing. You can move up to 2 energies from one of your Pokemon tag teams to another one of your Pokemon. This is also fantastic to get of course those energies to Pikachu and Zekrom. We have 3 copies of Energy Switch and 2 copies of Tag Switch. This will be sufficient to get of course the strategy going. This is gonna be one of those decks that almost gets a strategy going immediately with of course full Blitz on the first turn and afterwards Tag Bolt. Then some switching cards, 2 Escape Rope, 2 switches. It's gonna be neat enough for Jirachi to get out of the active position. We have of course the Thunderclap Zone ability, which will make sure that we have free retreat if everything has a lightning energy, but sometimes we just want those manual switches early game to get of course our PikaRom in the active position so we can strike with the full Blitz. And this is the Stadium Navi I was talking about. Flip 2 coins for each head, search your deck for a Stadium card. And yeah, typically 50% of the time, actually 75% of the time you will just get 1 head, I think. If that the math is correct. If it was 1 coin, you would have 50%, but now it's 75%, you will get at least 1 head. So that is gonna be nice to get of course your power plant, actually not power plant, the Thunder Mountain Stadium that you just desperately want to have the attack cost lowered by 1. Then 1 copy of Reset Stamp. This is a fantastic card. We already talked about it before on the channel. Just to put the opponent back, slow them down, get of course a game where you have a comeback mechanic with Reset Stamp and they draw the equal amount of prize cards to their prize cards that they have remaining. So shuffle the hand into the deck and then sometimes they draw 1 card, sometimes 2. It's fantastic. 2 Stadium cards. There's gonna be Thunder Mountain. Oh yeah, needing 1 lightning energy less to attack, way too good to pass up in any lightning deck. Sometimes Zapdos can attack for 0 energies, full Blitz for 2 energies, way too good. Then Viridian Force to just search energies every single turn if we get it out. Okay, and then for the energies, we're gonna be running 11 energies, so 11 lightning energies will be sufficient. We can get of course energies back with the Tapu Koko Prism Star, which is already a great thing to just early game get rid of some lightning energies and you can get them back with Tapu Koko Prism Star, but these will be sufficient to last you through the game. We have tag switches if need be. If you see almost a Pokemon is knocked out, use the tag switch and yeah, move it to another Pokemon that is freshly healed. That way you conserve energies and life is just good. So this is the entire list for Pikachu and Zekrom. This is gonna be one of the most consistent deck lists post-rotation. As mentioned, People will counter this by running Mew from Unbroken Bonds because this is so good. Also, Baby Buzz seem to be very difficult to get out. I've seen some popping up in Giratina, Garchomp, Malamar decks. Other than that, we also have like that Spiritomb Ultra Beast deck, but those are not that consistent because Nazball is gone. Searching out your Baby Buzzwole is very difficult. They will have to run communication, so PikaRom is doing fine. Anyhow, let me know what you think about this list in the comment section below. I'm curious to hear your opinion. If you have any updates for the deck, also put them there. The deck list is in the description, so you can easily copy that, try it out for yourself, and let me know how it does. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to demolish the like button, subscribe for more deck profiles on a daily basis, and I will see you guys, of course, in the next one. Peace out.